Let's just get into it. This is my period cup. I use the Diva cup and I honestly love it. I have a lot to say about this cup, like a lot to say. I have pros and cons. I'm going to tell you how to use the cup. I'm going to tell you how to clean the cup. I'm going to tell you how to take out the cup. Basically anything that you want to know, I'm going to try and put in this video because there is a lot to say about this little cup. So let's talk about how we pick out a cup. Let's start there and then we'll work our way down the list. So basically I bought the Diva cup. I bought the Diva cup just because it was at Walgreens and I really wanted to try a cup out. That is honestly the reason why I picked this cup. There was no like research done or anything, and after I bought the cup, I realized I should have done research before buying a cup, but luckily this cup has been perfect for me, but it might not be perfect for you. So when you go to pick out a cup, there are 4 different things you need to take into consideration. The first thing is if you've had kids. The second thing is where your cervix is sitting, if it's high or low. Third thing is if your uterus is tilted. And the fourth thing is your age. So those are the 4 things you need to take in consideration. So for the Diva cup, if you are over the age of 30, then you want to get a size 2. If you are under the age of 30, then you want to get a size 1. Unless you have had kids. If you have had kids, then you want to get the size 2, regardless of age. When you insert the cup, you should feel like you're not really wearing anything. Like it should just feel normal. So if you are wearing a cup and it is uncomfortable, then you might have the wrong size and you might want to check your cervix. The other thing is if your uterus is tilted, then that is going to affect how you insert the cup. If you have a tilted uterus, that means that the blood's gonna flow a different way than if you had a normal, just standard uterus. I don't know how this, I'm trying to talk about something like I'm like a doctor. Like this is just from my personal experience, you guys. Like I am not a doctor. I'm just a girl who uses a cup, and I'm just trying to give you guys some information on what worked for me. So now let's talk about how to use the cup. So there are apparently like 7 different folds, but when you get the Diva cup, it comes with instructions and it only shows you 2 different folds. So I've only tried out these 2 folds. I haven't tried out any other ones, so I'm just going to tell you about the 2 I've used. So basically the first fold is a U fold, and it just looks like a U fold. And then the other fold is a punch down fold. So you just punch it down in the middle. You take your finger and you punch it down, and then whoop, you punch it down, and then you kind of like pinch it, and then it looks like that. So those are the 2 different folds you can use. Okay, so when you go to insert your cup, you do not want to insert it too high because that could cause leaks. You want the cup to sit like just below your cervix. This is all I could find to demonstrate with. So basically you do whatever fold it is you want to do. We're going to do the U fold for right now. And when you insert the cup, you just kind of like go and like at an angle, and then you insert it and it should pop open. And after it pops open, you want to slowly turn the cup. Like if this is your first time doing it, you want to kind of twist it while it's kind of still out a little bit. So just kind of twist it in a circle, because when you twist it, that's gonna let the cup open up completely and it's gonna help it to suction. And then after you've twisted it, you kind of just slowly like push it in a little bit. So after you've pushed it in, then you wanna take your finger and you just wanna run your finger kind of around the bottom edge, and you're checking to make sure there are no dents, because sometimes the cup will still be folded a little bit, and when you run your finger around the bottom, you're gonna feel that dent, and if it's still folded, then the blood is gonna leak through the side. So you wanna make sure that you are checking to make sure it is fully open. Then after you've checked and the cup is fully open, so if the cup, for some reason, if the cup does not fully open, what you can do, or what I do, if the cup is still kind of folded a little bit, I will take my finger and I will push on the other side, and I will just keep kind of like pushing on the side that isn't folded until the other side pops open. And so then after that side is fully open, then I'll twist it again just to make sure it's gonna suction. And then after I've twisted it, to make sure it's fully suctioned, I kind of take the stem and I will gently, not anything rough or anything, you just kind of gently pull it and it shouldn't move. And then I'll pull it down a little bit and then I'll try to push it up. And if it doesn't move up or down, then it's suctioned and you're good. And you should be able to leave your cup in for about 10 to 12 hours, depending on how heavy or light your flow is. So yeah, and that's basically all you do when you are inserting the cup. Okay, so one more thing about inserting the cup. You do not want to rush through any of the steps. You really want to take your time and make sure you do each step all the way through, because if you rush through the steps, that's going to cause your cup to leak. You really need to make sure the cup is open and suctioned before you leave the bathroom. So if this is your first time, it is going to take a while to make sure it is in place, and you might get up and still think it's not working. So just have a backup plan for the first couple uses, because like I said, there is a learning curve. I've used this cup for 3 cycles now, and I just now feel like I've got the hang of it. So it definitely takes some practice, but once you get it and you understand it, it's super easy to use. So yes, take your time, don't rush through it, it'll be okay. Then when you're ready to take your cup out, it is not that hard. This is probably the hardest part, honestly, is getting the cup in. Taking it out is not hard at all. It's like super easy. So when you're ready to take your cup out, all I do is I just kind of like bear down on my pelvic floor muscles. It basically feels like when you're going to give birth. It's really not hard, you guys. Like I just kind of bear down a little bit, and then I find the base of the cup and then I squeeze the base, because that will help break the suction, and then I just pull it out. And then when you pull it out, it doesn't like slosh and go everywhere. It literally just sits in the cup. And then you just kind of dump it out in the toilet, and then you take the cup and you go to the sink and you wash it out with soap and water, mild soap, not anything harsh, because you don't want to put that in your body. But yeah, so you wash it out with mild soap and water. And when you're washing the cup, you really want to make sure that you're cleaning the little holes that are around the edges, because those little holes need to be extremely clean so that it'll suction the next time. And then after you've washed the cup, then you can just put it back in the same way you did before, and then you're good to go for another 10 to 12 hours, depending on how heavy or light your flow is. Now I want to talk about how I use the cup, especially because I have like an abnormal heavy flow on day 2 and day 3. So on those days, this cup is like, it is tricky and it gets messy. So I just want to kind of talk about how I use it on my heavy days, because I know I'm not the only person with really heavy periods. So yeah, let's just talk about what I do with the cup. Okay, so my heavy days definitely are day 2 and then sometimes day 3. So for those heavy days, I put the cup in the same as normal, but sometimes it won't suction properly, and I think it's just because it's like literally like a murder scene. Oh my gosh, that's intense. Yeah, I don't know. It's just sometimes I feel like the cup won't suction, and no matter what I do on my heavy days, it doesn't seem to suction. So if you have any advice, please let me know. Yeah, day 2 and day 3, I just back up my cup with Thinx underwear, and it works just fine. Now let me talk about how I insert the cup, because I for sure have a tilted uterus, and I know this because I just had a baby. So they have examined me many times, so I know where my cervix sits. I have a high sitting cervix and a tilted uterus. So that affects the way I insert the cup. So for a normal person, they would just fold the cup and then stick the folded rim in first. So it would go in, let me get my cup. It would go in first, but for me, I have to flip it. I do, instead of putting the folded in down at the bottom, I flip it this way, so the folded in is at the top, and then I insert it so that the folded in is opening first. And for me, that helps me to have less leaks by doing that. Every person's body is different, and it's not something you can just follow instructions on. You really need to experiment and find out what works for you, because it wasn't until I was like, well, let me try turning the cup over, that I stopped having leaks. Because before then I was having like little leaks even on my light days, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So I just tried something different. I used to do the punch down fold because it seemed the most comfortable to put in, but it would never open up all the way. So now the only fold that works for me is the U fold. And like I said, I put it in with the folded part in first, so it pops open. Research, read a lot of articles and watch a lot of YouTube videos about these cups, and try everything before you give up on them, because trust me, I was like, this is just too much work. I'm just gonna go back to what I was doing before, but I don't know, I really wanted it to work, and now it does, so I'm happy with it now. But in the beginning I was like, this is just too much, like I can't get this thing to do what I want it to do. So don't give up on it. It is frustrating, but once you get the hang of it, it really is worth it, because I don't know, less waste and less toxins for one. Now let me talk about my pros and cons about the cup. So a pro is on my normal flows, and on my normal flow and light days, it literally feels like I'm not on my period, because I can leave the cup in for 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours, and I do not feel like, I like sometimes forget that I'm on my period, because it's so comfortable. I am not leaking, and it literally, you just feel so free and you're on your period, and I don't know. So that's really nice. I really like that feeling of just being free, and like I'm not confined to my period. So that is like the best thing. Another pro is I am reducing waste, and I'm reducing the toxins that I'm putting in my body, which is win-win. I used to use tampons, I had to stop, because I wore tampon to the beach one time, and I got sick because I left it in too long, and it literally made me sick. So from that day I stopped wearing tampons. So then it was like, after that like traumatic experience, if people were going to the beach or the pool, then I would just be like, oh, I can't go because I'm not gonna wear a tampon, because I had such a negative experience with it. So having this cup just makes you feel like free. Like I know I'm not gonna hurt my body by putting this cup in me, and I just feel so much more like secure than I did with the tampon. And obviously a pad, like pads suck. So another thing is I am no longer spending money on products every single month. I literally have my Thinks undies, and I have my cup, and I can reuse both of those every single month. So I'm not going and buying like, I don't know, like $7 boxes of pads for a month, you know, like I can just go and like wash my cup and put it back in. I don't know, it's like saving me money also, which I like, because I'm super cheap. I love to save money, so yay for the cup, because I don't have to spend money. Okay, another thing is it measures the blood. So now I know I have an abnormal period, and I need to go and like talk to my doctor about it, because there's no way I should be filling up a cup full of blood. Like I don't really know exactly how much you should be filling up, but I guarantee you I should not be filling up one cup every 2 to 3 hours. Like that's not normal. So now I know I need to go talk to my doctor about that. So that's another pro, is it's letting me know exactly what's happening during my cycle. Okay, and then, like I said, I really enjoy the freedom of just feeling like I am not on my period. That is amazing. And then honestly, since using the cup, I have like this new relationship with my period that I've never had before. It literally feels like super empowering. It doesn't feel like a gross thing that happens in my body anymore. It just feels super natural. Like, I don't know, I just have this new relationship with my period. And I mean, I feel like every woman should feel like this. Like, your period isn't gross. It is completely normal. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If anyone makes you feel ashamed, they're crappy people and you shouldn't be hanging out with them. So yeah, anyway, use a cup. Okay, and then my only cons for the cup is on my heavy days. So on my heavy days, the cup Like I said, it does leak, and I honestly think the cup is leaking because it's having a hard time suctioning because I'm bleeding so much. So when the cup opens up, I think the little holes are just catching the blood instead of suctioning to me. And yeah, so I think that helps, that makes the cup leak. But I still wear the cup. It still does catch the blood even though it's leaking, and then I wear the Things underwear. So I have like double protection on the day 2 and sometimes day 3. But like I said, I wouldn't wear the cup on day 2 or day 3 to the beach, but I wouldn't go to the beach for a whole week if I was on my period without the cup, you know? So the cup works, you guys. It's awesome. And just because it doesn't work on my heavy days doesn't mean it's not gonna work on your heavy days. That everyone's period is different. So literally, please give the cup a try. I'm such a huge advocate for it. It is amazing. It literally will make you feel like a new person. Everyone should try it. Everyone should try it, and everyone should try the Things underwear. Like, seriously, please try a cup and a Things underwear. Okay, and now finally, if you have any more questions about cups in general, just any kind of cup, not just the Diva cup, you can go over to Put a Cup in It, their YouTube channel. They literally are the reason like I figured out a lot of stuff that was happening with my cup, and I still use them if I have questions about it. They cover everything. So if you have more questions, just go over there, and I'm sure you can ask them personally if you have like a question they don't answer. But they literally, they know so much about these cups, you guys. So go check their channel out. It's really awesome. And they are helping women, I'm telling you. So yeah, that is all. I hope I explained this for everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me on Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And that's all. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys.